Alright. YouTube video number 1. Here's my current project. Pop can, throwaway, unibody, Chrysler junk. I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I completely redid this stupid thing. I work for an industrial blasting and painting company. So it gets stripped right down to a bare shell, the entire powertrain, interior, everything right out of it, and put all new floor pans in it, made them out of 10 gauge steel, and flipped the thing over, sandblasted the whole bottom side of it, coated the whole thing in industrial epoxy, top and bottom, inside and out. It's about what you got to do to keep these pieces of crap from rotting away. Built custom bumpers for it. They got winch plugs in both of them, and then I built a little receiver thing for the winch so you can put it on the front or the back. The power for those plugs goes through a continuous duty solenoid that you just turn on with a switch inside the Jeep. Sends power to both bumpers. Front bumpers, pretty much the same idea, except this one's got a stupid trailer plug in it for some reason. I don't know why I put that in there, but whatever. But cut the bottom of the body off down here for the bumper to wrap all the way around. Then replace the rockers with rectangle tube. There was a 4-liter AX15 231 Jeep. And when I did redid the body, I rebuilt the motor, rebuilt the transmission, rebuilt the transfer case, rebuilt and re-geared both axles. Obviously it had 307s like all the other stick Jeeps. Now it's got 410s. It's got the usual, cobbled. I think these are Dakota springs, a little bit longer shackles. Still got the 27 spline 8 1/4 in it. Well, I haven't broke it yet, knock on wood. Found the OEM gas tank skid for it at one point in time. We had 33s on it. We have 35 stuffed under it now. It's not going to be able to go even out of the garage with these on it. I have to do some rearranging in the sheet metal in order to run these, but I'm trying to get my damn light to come along with me here. I actually see something. Still the original crappy 30. Grand tie rod. It's like a, I don't know, some Rusty's track bar or something. You know how that goes. You just replace that tie rod end over and over again. Oh well, it's better than replacing the whole track bar. Iron Man 4x4 fab adjustable control arms with urethane bushings that suck. Thing rides like a lumber wagon. I put the newer style shafts in it, you know, with the bigger U-joints. It had the little baby ones in it when I got it. Let's get those stupid adjustable coil spacer ACOS things. Those will be going away here shortly, along with those awful control arms. So yeah, I built my own bumper mounts and everything out of all 3/8 plate, and went way back up into the frame rails with it. And then actually, before it got coated, I welded a complete unibody stiffener kit, front all the way to the back. Hopefully, I don't know. They're pieces of junk. You got to do whatever you can to get these things to stay together, if whether you want to admit it or not. So I put, after it all got done, I put 50,000 miles on it or so. And I don't know. I mean, I love 4-liters. Don't get me wrong, they're great engines, but I was just getting tired of getting 15 miles a gallon and only having 190 horsepower. So I'm repowering it now. I'm just, I don't know. You can't go wrong with these stupid motors. I mean, they're so much more powerful and they're so much smoother and they're drastically more efficient. So I don't know. This is a LM7 out of a, I don't know, 99, 2000 or something Silverado. Obviously, it doesn't look like an LM7. It's got an LS1 intake on it, LS1 water pump, and it's Holley accessory bracket here, which is basically just a replica of the Corvette bracket. It's a truck alternator. Obviously, the alternators are interchangeable, but Corvette power steering pulley, but it's kind of neat actually. I had a WJ pump on the 4-liter, you know, for the additional flow characteristics of that pump, the 4.7 WJ pump. But the Corvette pump that is supposed to go into this bracket obviously is it doesn't have a lot of gallons per minute. It's made for a rack, so, but it's the same type of GM Type 2 pump as the WJ pump is. So I had to grind a couple of spots on the back of the pump, and I had to cut off a mounting ear at the back, but after that the WJ pump bolted right up into this bracket, and the shaft diameter was the same as the Corvette pump, so this gigantic Corvette pulley actually fits on there as well. And then I just bought this Flaming River, I think, makes this fitting that brings the pressure fitting out to an accessible area and converts it over to -6. So I can just make a hydraulic hose at work to do my power stand. Obviously I had to buy these little adapter fittings here for the box. But that leaves me with the original pressure fitting actually from the 4-liter pump, which I put into the WJ pump, which still has a small orifice in it. So I was planning on to try and take advantage of the additional flow of this pump. I was going to start going through it with the machinist drill bit set and working that hole a little bit bigger at a time and see if I can get the steering feel, or the performance of the steering to be at least what it was before, because it's a giant pulley now, so it's slowing my pump way down from the 4-liter pulley. So, but this little fitting is nice for that reason. I don't have to there's other fittings that replace the pressure fitting in here too, so if you drill it out a little bit too big, then you just ruined a $40 fitting. So I don't know, it's an expensive little bugger, but I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, it's a Durango box that I put in it when it still had the 4-liter. I didn't notice any improvements with that either, or with the WJ pump, but whatever. And there's the steel box spacer in there instead of the crappy cast aluminum Chrysler unit. So yeah, the whole drive is a Corvette drive. The harmonic balancer came off of a G8, which is the same spacing as the Corvette. It's the closest to the engine. And rather than cutting the plugs off the injectors on the truck harness that came with this engine, I just bought these injector spacers, used the LS1 rail, so I don't have to have a computer flashed for different pound-per-hour injectors, and I don't have to change the plugs. I could just use my truck harness the way it came. Obviously I had to bend the inlet fitting going into the fuel rail up and forward in order to clear these truck coils. These are coils actually off of an 08 or something, I don't know, some Gen 4 engine that I got sitting over there that blew up. But the car rail runs right into the truck coils, so you pretty much have to do that. What else? It's a very tight fit. It's when you get the 4-liter out of here, you think you're going to have all kinds of real estate in here, until you try and shoehorn this thing in here, and it's a tight fit. These are Novak motor mounts. If you do this, buy the Novak mounts. I mean, I love fabricating and stuff, but it's just not worth it in this instance. This engine can't go down any, it can't go back any, it can't go up any, and it can't go forward any either. It is in precisely the spot to clear everything. So the Novak did a fantastic job with these mounts, not to mention they bolt in. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. So if you're dumb enough to put an LS in a Cherokee, then buy those mounts. Same with the headers. They're an extremely tight fit as well, and this one dumps more downward and the other one dumps more rearward. So there's really no other headers that fit all that well. From what I'm told, the I don't know, 5th gen Camaro or something manifolds fit too, but I just figured I'd buy the headers. They're made by Sanderson, but you can't get them from Sanderson. So call me an idiot, but I'm reusing my AX15. I mean, I built this transmission. I like this transmission. I know everything about it. A lot of people think this isn't going to last, and it may not. It certainly wouldn't last behind a healthy 6.2, but I don't know. It's a stock 5.3, so, and I don't drive like a total retard most of the time, so we'll see how long it holds up. It's a Novak adapter that just adapts the gear case over to a GM bell housing. That's just an old SM465 bell housing I had laying around. You got to use the truck oil pan. The car oil pans, the front sump sits down too far, and the front axle might come up and tag it, depending on your lift. Slave's not in there yet, but you can see the bracket for it. That's a Novak unit too. They make a slave that's the bore is the same as the factory Jeep Master that's in the Jeep already, so it's kind of a no-brainer too. And it's made to bolt to the Chevy bell housing, so it has a DOT fitting on it, like a brake line type fitting, and then there's another fitting that they sell that goes into the Master that also converts that over to DOT. So there's just going to be a simple hydraulic hose. They make it work too. I did the Novak cable shifter for the transfer case a long time ago, and it's just worth its weight in gold. I mean, it's fantastic. The Jeep's not jumping out of low range and stuff like that like it used to. The original system is just stupid. It's Chrysler at their finest. Attaching the linkage on one side to the body and then the other side to the drivetrain is just asinine. So, and the nice thing about this is the whole powertrain has obviously got to come forward, you know, what, 3-4 inches from where it was for the engine. And it doesn't matter with this cable. You just hook it back up. You don't have to re-engineer your janky, crappy linkage and make it work again. So I'm glad I did that a long time ago. From what I'm told, the Jeep original fuel pump, I know there's a couple different pumps in these era Jeeps. Walbro and some other one. I don't remember what one I got, but they're supposed to, unregulated, put out 100 psi. I don't know about volume, but I'm gonna try and run the Jeep pump. I got the Corvette filter regulator that everybody uses. Those are Skyjacker M95 monotubes. Those are fantastic shocks, by the way. If you're like me and you're on a budget and you want a monotube, they're a great shock. Yeah, here's your silly little filter regulator gizmo. I've already made the hoses. It's just going to be mounted in front of the tank back there. To return, we'll just turn around, dump right back in. Of course, I had to buy the fancy, screw together fittings. So little plastic Dorman things they're well known for just disconnecting randomly. So but yeah, this will be mounted right to the unibody, right in front of the tank. And then I was just going to use this nylon -6 hose. Use that exhaust Y. This is a nice little piece, actually. I was going to run 2.5 off the headers and then wire it together up there on the passenger side. There's just not enough room to run duals. I mean, even if you run 2.5 all the way out the back, they'd have to be running alongside each other on the passenger side, and it's just, I don't know. I'm just going to wire them together and go 3-inch. all the way out. And I first bought this thing. Looked a lot bigger in the ad. There's not much to it on the inside, so probably going to be a little too loud if I'm going to get into Silver Lake sand dunes. I got to be somewhat reasonable on my exhaust tone, so I'm going to save that one for another project. I'm going to try that Hooker aero chamber. That thing is like a space shuttle on the inside. I've never seen a muffler so complex, so I don't. We'll see how that sounds. And the cooling, I mean, I don't have a radiator yet. I was going to buy the Novak one, and I was just going to run those two little buggers, they're like 9-inch or something, and then the original electric fan in its original location. I still think I'm going to have cooling issues. I mean, it's just the nose of these Jeeps is just so damn small, and even the Novak radiator isn't any larger than the original radiator, which is inadequate for a 4-liter. It's thicker and it's a double pass, so the inlet and outlet are on the same side. But I don't know. I guess we'll see what kind of issues I have. Yeah, I already took the whole truck harness all apart. Took all the unnecessary, nonsense out of it. And it's ready to run, basically. I just have to, it obviously needs loomed up, but I wasn't going to do that until I figured out the routing on how I'm going to route it. It's a really long harness. It's meant for a full-size truck, so I might have to kind of do a little loop-de-doo around or something back to the engine, or I don't know. But I bought this thing on eBay. This thing is neat. I mean, it's gonna drastically simplify the wiring here. I mean, everything is labeled. It's all pre-wired. It's made for LS swaps, specifically made for the 0411 PCM. Well, you need to probably work with a Gen 4 PCM too, but this is what you'll hook into the Jeep. These are all your power wires and everything else, and this harness comes off and goes to the PCM. I got a little ambitious the one day and just hacked this plug off of there, the original Jeep PCM plug. I probably shouldn't have did that, but so now I got to go through these wires, and these are all the ones I got separated that I need to VSS signal and everything, and stuff going to the factory tachometer and speedometer, because I want to run all my original gauges. I like those gauges. So I can tie the PCM into this. Obviously, the LS PCM sends out a 4-cylinder tach signal, so I'm going to have to get a Dakota Digital unit to go inside the Jeep somewhere to bump that up to a 6-cylinder signal and see if I can get the tach to work, and then making the speedo work. I still can't make up my mind what the hell I want to do with that. Obviously, I have a Jeep VSS, which is a totally different type of signal than what makes the GM PCM happy. So I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I think Dakota Digital came out with a unit that runs off of GPS and actually has enough resolution for a vehicle speed signal for the PCM, which I think would be frickin' awesome. But I gotta call them guys up about that, because this seems too good to be true. I guess it has some kind of predictive software for, obviously, when you're going through tunnels and under bridges and stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I bought the generic $20 PCM mount. I don't know, it's a GM part. I don't know what it's actually out of, but this thing will probably lay down in there or something. I don't know. We'll put this thing up over here somewhere. Yeah. There's the winch solenoid that sends power to the bumpers. That's just a keyed hot solenoid for accessories. And this is a pre-wired block that I put on there a long time ago